Welcome, history lovers. Prepare to embark on a captivating journey through time. Today we journey through the epic story of the United Kingdom, a land steeped in history and legend. We'll explore the key events and influential figures that have shaped this island nation. Our tale begins in ancient Britain, long before the arrival of castles and kings. Here, Celtic tribes like the Iceni, led by the fierce Queen Boudica, and the Brigantes, who controlled vast territories in the north, lived in fortified hill forts, strategic locations that offered protection and a commanding view of the surrounding lands. These hill forts were centers of tribal life, farmed the land with simple tools, cultivating crops and raising livestock to sustain their communities. Agriculture was the backbone of their society, and followed the guidance of Druids, the priestly class who were scholars, judges, and keepers of ancient wisdom. They held sacred ceremonies in forests and groves. Their world of oral tradition and mysterious monuments like Stonehenge, a testament to their astronomical knowledge and spiritual beliefs, was about to change forever, as a new power began to cast its shadow across the channel. In 55 BC, Julius Caesar's Roman legions arrived on a reconnaissance mission that offered a taste of Roman military might. But it was Emperor Claudius in 43 AD, nearly a century later, who launched a full-scale invasion, determined to bring Britain under Roman control. The Romans built roads, a network of highways that crisscrossed the land, facilitating trade and troop movement. They established cities like Londinium, a bustling center of commerce and administration on the banks of the Thames, and introduced written language, law, and new building techniques, transforming the landscape with their advanced engineering. For nearly 4 centuries, much of Britain was a Roman province, a period of relative peace and prosperity known as Pax Romana. This era was marked by the famous Hadrian's Wall in the north, a formidable barrier built to defend against the Picts and Scots. Roman rule brought peace and transformation, leaving an indelible mark on British society and culture. But they never fully conquered the wild lands of Caledonia, the rugged and mountainous region, which is modern Scotland. The fierce tribes of the north resisted Roman rule, maintaining their independence. When the Romans withdrew in the early 5th century, facing pressures from elsewhere in their empire, they left behind a land forever changed, but also vulnerable to new threats and opportunities. This withdrawal setting the stage for the next wave of invaders, who would further shape the destiny of Britain. The legacy of Celts and Romans, two distinct cultures that collided and intertwined, still echoes in Britain's landscape and culture today, a reminder of the island's rich and complex past. As the mighty Roman Empire began to wane, its legions each vying for power and dominance. They brought with them Old English, the foundation of the shape of England. Legendary figures like King Alfred the Great of Wessex fought back with unwavering resolve, defending his kingdom and preserving Anglo-Saxon culture. He laid the groundwork, forging a new English identity, one that would withstand the Norman conquest. The year is 1066. England, a land forged by Anglo-Saxon kings, stood at a crossroads. The death of its monarch had plunged the kingdom into a succession crisis, the likes of which it had rarely seen. The throne lay vacant after the passing of King Edward the Confessor, a pious ruler whose reign had been marked by peace but whose death ignited a fierce struggle for power. 3 powerful rivals emerged, each with a claim to the English crown. First, there was Harold Godwinson, a powerful Anglo-Saxon nobleman, a man of immense wealth and influence within the kingdom. Then came Harald Hardrada, the fearsome Viking king of Norway, a warrior of legendary strength and ambition, eager to revive the Norse claim to England. And finally, William of Normandy, the ambitious and cunning duke from across the English Channel, who asserted his right to the throne through blood ties and alleged promises. Harold Godwinson moved swiftly, first crushing Harald Hardrada's invading Viking force at the bloody Battle of Stamford Bridge in the north. This decisive victory effectively ended the age of Viking incursions into England, securing the kingdom's northern border. But while Harold celebrated his triumph, William of Normandy landed his formidable army on the southern coast of England near Hastings. This forced Harold to undertake a grueling march south, leading his battle-weary troops to confront the Norman invaders at Hastings. On October 14th, the fate of England was decided on the battlefield. The Battle of Hastings raged with brutal intensity. Harold Godwinson, the last Anglo-Saxon king, fell in battle, struck down, according to legend, by an arrow to the eye. With Harold's death, William emerged victorious, his Norman army triumphant on English soil. William, now known as William the Conqueror, was crowned King of England, forever altering the course of English history. The Norman conquest ushered in a new era, marking the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the beginning of Norman dominance. The Normans initiated a profound transformation of English society, leaving an indelible mark on its culture, language, and institutions. They systematically replaced the existing English elite with Norman nobles, consolidating their power and influence. They built imposing castles across the land, symbols of Norman authority and military might, and they introduced the feudal system, a rigid social hierarchy that structured land ownership and obligations. French, the language of the Norman court, became the language of power, law, and administration. Yet the English language, though influenced by Norman French, persevered among the common people, ensuring its survival. The conquest fundamentally reshaped England's legal system, introducing Norman laws and customs that would shape English jurisprudence for centuries to come. The Norman influence extended to culture, architecture, and even the very landscape of England, leaving an enduring legacy. The Norman conquest laid the groundwork for centuries of rivalry and conflict between England and France, shaping the political landscape of Europe. The echoes of the events of 1066 continue to resonate in British identity, culture, and institutions to this day. The island's destiny was now inextricably linked to the continent of Europe, forging new connections and alliances. England's horizons expanded, drawing it into the wider world of trade, diplomacy, and exploration. A new era had dawned, forever changing the course of English history and shaping the nation's future. Norman kings ruled with iron authority, but their power was challenged by ambitious barons. In 1215, King John was forced to sign Magna Carta, establishing that even the king was subject to the law. This charter laid the groundwork for Parliament and the idea of limited monarchy. Tensions with France persisted, erupting into the Hundred Years' War in 1337. English longbowmen won legendary victories at Crécy and Agincourt, but the war drained resources and morale. The conflict spurred new military tactics and a growing sense of English identity. Magna Carta's legacy endured, inspiring future generations to demand justice and rights. The seeds of constitutional government were sown in these turbulent centuries. England's struggle with France would shape its destiny for generations. The stage was set for new battles, this time within England itself. After losing almost all French lands, England plunged into civil war, the Wars of the Roses. Rival branches, Lancaster and York, fought for the throne in a brutal dynastic struggle. The conflict saw betrayals, shifting alliances, and infamous battles like Towton and Bosworth Field. In 1485, Henry Tudor defeated Richard III, ending the wars and founding the Tudor dynasty. The red and white roses merged into the Tudor rose, symbolizing unity after decades of chaos. A new era of stability and transformation was about to begin. And between old faith and new, the next dynasty would face these challenges head-on. The stage was set for revolution. The Tudor line ended with Elizabeth of the throne passed to James VI of Scotland, uniting the crowns. The Stuart kings clashed with Parliament over power and religion. Charles I's belief in absolute monarchy led to bitter disputes and, eventually, civil war. Royalists and parliamentarians fought for control, tearing the nation apart. Oliver Cromwell's New Model Army defeated the king, who was tried and executed in 1649. England became a republic, the Commonwealth, ruled by Cromwell as Lord Protector. Strict Puritan rule followed, but after Cromwell's death, the monarchy was restored. The Civil War forever changed the balance of power, establishing that the monarch could not rule without Parliament. The seeds of constitutional monarchy were firmly planted. Britain was on the path to a new kind of government. The struggle for power was far from over. The Restoration brought back the monarchy, but Parliament's power was now supreme. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 saw William and Mary take the throne, agreeing to the Bill of Rights and cementing constitutional monarchy. England and Scotland, long rivals, formally united in 1707 to form Great Britain. The Union Jack symbolized this new kingdom, soon joined by Ireland in 1801. Political stability and shared government paved the way for economic and imperial expansion. Britain's constitutional monarchy became a model for the world. The Acts of Union created a powerful, unified state. The stage was set for Britain's rise as a global superpower. The modern United Kingdom was taking shape. Its influence would soon reach every corner of the globe. The 18th and 19th centuries saw Britain transformed by the Industrial Revolution and the growth of its empire. Factories, railways, and cities reshaped the landscape, while the Royal Navy secured global trade. At its height, the British Empire spanned a quarter of the world, bringing wealth and controversy. The 20th century brought two world wars, testing Britain's resilience and changing its place in the world. After World War II, the empire dissolved and the welfare state was born, including the NHS. Decolonization led to the Commonwealth, a new partnership of nations. The partition of Ireland created the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Britain's story became one of adaptation, no longer an empire, but a modern nation facing new challenges. From joining the European Union to Brexit, the UK continues to evolve. Its history is a story of resilience, reinvention, and enduring influence.